That's something wasn't right. Oh, baby, baby, I shouldn't have let you go. And now you're out of sight. Yeah, show me how you want it to be. Yeah, tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now. Because my loneliness is killing me. And I must confess, I still believe when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Hit me, baby, but not too hard. Hit me one more time. Hit me, baby, but not too hard. One more time again. I must confess that my loneliness is killing me now. Don't you know I still believe that you will be here and give me a sign. Give me, baby, one more time.
Hey everybody, and Hex hit me baby one more time. Hope you love that Jack Black. I mean, it's so cool. Really think that's catchy. And you know, it's a bit like Hex hit me one more baby one more time. So we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna get into the stock market, crypto. Obviously the Deacon upgrade happened overnight. We're gonna talk about that briefly. We're gonna talk about more money going into Bitcoin, and of course we're gonna get into the Hex, EHEX, PHEX, and Pulsechain incentive token, all that good stuff, as well as a lot of project updates. We're going to talk about a lot of utility projects today and some of the updates around those. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to get into the Hex and the Magic Up Ride. So stay tuned for all that. It's going to be a fun show with lots of variety. So let's go. And of course, we've got a fun start. So I love that. Big shout out. Hello, Lies Beneath in the House there. How are you today? Very good. Hex, EHEX, or X, PLS you got there. Well, we'll just say X is EX as well. It's a mutable code. It's going to be living for a while, just like every other contract on the chain. PLS and PLSX incentive for the win, says Lies. Absolutely, the gold crypto from Richard Hart. Hex on Choice says, hello, another fine day earning money from crypto. Yeah, a lot of people have been telling me that lately. Obviously, in the bull market, a great time to earn good income and capital gains. It's a nice one there. Tom Coyne in the house there, PLS for the win. We got Brennan as well, our TA specialist in the house there, Morning Superman family. Hey Brennan, if you're around after the live stream, hit me up in the Discord. I have to chat with you a few things there if you're available, so it'd be cool. We got Hunter 51 in the house there, evening all. Good to see Hunter. Welcome to the chat as well. Hex and Choice is here, never fear. Property View says, nice Jack Black. Yeah, I love that little promo video. Found that on the internet, looked pretty good. J-Man says, hello, everybody. Good to see you, J-Man, and welcome as well. So everybody else there, get into the chat. Make it lively, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, we'd like to hear from all of you. Get in there, folks. Here comes Wookie. One more time, says Wookie. I like that one. That actually made sense, Wookie. That one actually made sense. Oh, my gosh. Things are really turning around here. The bull market's definitely on as well. Brent says, sure, thanks. Jump into it. Awesome. We'll catch up after the live stream. All right, Joey Torres in the house there. Hi all, good to see you, Joey. Welcome to the chat as well. And of course, I hope you can see the cool Hex armor behind me. Hex Knight, as we say. It looks pretty badass, I think. Let's get into it, folks. We'll start off with the stock market and move on pretty fast through that. We're going to have a good show, so let's get into it. And bam, there we go. Let me pull up and share my screen first of all. Sometimes I forget to bring that up, but there we go. Bam. All right. So, which format? I just kind of like, what's the layout that I like? Like this one. It's kind of cool, this layout. Let's leave it like that for a little bit. It's a bit bigger. And, of course, let's get into it. So, Dow ekes out gains as energy shines, but the tech takes a breather. Obviously, let's have a look at what that all means. So, Dow Jones up 1/10%, 38 points to 39,043. So, Dow Jones, it's got top 30 industrials in it. That's going okay. S&P 500, however, is chill. It's down almost 0.2%, 10 points to 5,165. And the NASDAQ, with all the tech companies in it, is down 0.5%, 87 points there to 16,177. So a bit of mixed results there. The US dollar is down again today. Notice a little bit of shading, a little bit of weakness on the US dollar. on the dollar index there, 102.42. We did have an update yesterday, but we've been down a few days, more days than we have recently. Let's go to the commodities. West Texas at the moment, $79.60. And Brent oil, $83.97. Both of them appear flat at this stage. Gold there sitting flat as well, 2,179. And silver there, $25.22, up a third of a percent there for silver. So that's kind of commodities. We've got, we're going to jump through some of this stuff here. We got the PPI, so the Producers Price Index, inflation, retail sales data is awaited. So that's coming up ahead of the Fed's meeting next, which is about a week away. Investors will pass the Producers Price Index data and retail sales data for February, which is due on Thursday, US time. Obviously, it's Thursday here down under already. For further clues on inflation and the strength of consumer spending, the data comes ahead of the Fed's meeting on March the 19th to the 20th, when the central bank is expected to keep interest rates unchanged. Traders are pricing in a 60% chance of a 25 basis point cut in June. So that is the earliest possible pivot there for the interest rates. We continue to expect the FOMC to leave the Fed funds rate unchanged at the March meeting and to begin easing cycle in June. Badusha there from Goldman Sachs. All right, let's move on from there. That is the stock market and commodities and the economic news. Let's get into crypto. Bitcoin at the moment, $73,085. And of course, that is down 0.25% there. So a little bit of easing there. Bitcoin dominance still at 51%. ETH, however, is went below 4,000 after the Deacon upgrade, back over 4,000 now. So it's pretty much flat at the moment. You can see the market's pretty mixed, pretty sort of sideways at this stage. A little bit of gains here and there, but nothing particularly standing out at the moment. Now, how did Optimism and Arbitrum do? Some of the second layers. Well, ARB there is just up slightly there. What's that? 0.5% on ARB. Optimism is up, 0.4%? They're $4.40. Those are some of the ones there that benefit from the Deacon upgrade in particular. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Yeah, boy. Okay, enough craziness. Let's move on. All right. I mean, I could make this a sillier show if I was really being silly, but we're going to be trying to keep serious here. Not the quasi super serious. It's not like the BBC news, which is fake news, but we'll get into it. Let's go to the BBC. I mean, Bitcoin news. We got, like I say, we got the candles here looking pretty good. All right. We're at 70. Where the high today is 73,709. So that's a new all-time high. We've also had a low of 71,337. So the range has been pretty tight, actually. It's about what, $370 or something, $360 of a range. So pretty tight range today. And we're at the top of that range at 73,086. What a boss. And what's some of the news around that? Well, guess what? Michael Saylor at it again. He's at it again. Microsoft Strategy announces a proposed private offering of $500 million of convertible senior notes. He's back again with the old MSTR. And of course, wow, they're going to buy more Bitcoin. Yeah, let's hear from Michael Saylor. We're going to watch a video for about 5 minutes. A little latest video from Michael Saylor there. We watched one just the other day after he did that other big buy. And let's get into it. Not that one. That's the wrong one. Let's go. This one.
For Bitcoin today, MicroStrategy shares, well, they're higher. TD Cowen raising its price target on the stock to $1,560. That's $1,560 after MicroStrategy increased its Bitcoin holdings by another 12,000 Bitcoin. The total holdings about 205,000 now. Joining me now, MicroStrategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor. Michael, it's good to see you. It's been a little while.
Thanks for having me, Julie.
So I want to start. I know that you're bullish on Bitcoin. I think everyone knows by now that you see a long-term store of value in Bitcoin. And you have said that you see it as digital property as opposed to thinking of it as a digital currency. So if you could help me understand, as you add more to the company's balance sheet, what the sort of end game is for those holdings on MicroStrategy's balance sheet.
Yeah, well, we think Bitcoin is the highest form of property. It's the apex property in the world, and it's the best investment asset. So the end game is to acquire more Bitcoin. Whoever gets the most Bitcoin wins.
Well,
there is no other end game.
But Michael, I guess what I'm trying to understand is, so if I think of it as digital property, and I think of analogies, right? I think of a real estate company that buys property and holds on to other kinds of property. They may not be the apex, but whatever kinds of property. I think of an asset manager that buys all kinds of different assets. Eventually, they sell those assets in order to make profits. But I don't think that is your end game, right? You're not planning to sell the Bitcoin at any point. So kind of what is the purpose of it over time?
Well, let's keep in mind the fundamental principle. What's the use case of Bitcoin? It's capital preservation. So if you have $1 billion and you live in South America, or you live in Asia, or you live in Africa, and you want the capital to last for 100 years, you're not going to want to buy $1 billion company or $1 billion building or $1 billion of land in any place in Africa. You're going to have to find some other form of property that you can hold for a long period of time. Let's take New York City. Developers of New York City in 1776 didn't have an end game. They've been raising capital to invest in New York City real estate at the all-time high for 300 years. If you went and talked to them today and you said, what's your end game? They would say, well, we're going to keep investing in New York City. If you've ever talked to a person that owned an apartment in New York City, no one aspires to hold the apartment for a few years, sell the apartment, and move out of New York City. They put it in their will, they give it to their children, and if you ask them why, they say there's no better place on earth to live than New York. There is no place up from there. So New York City is the end game for people that want to live in the greatest city in North America. Bitcoin is the end game for anybody that wants to own the greatest property in the 21st century.
Well, I guess that is the case, but is there a price at which you would consider selling some of the Bitcoin, pulling out? So, I mean, because you can do something with New York City. You can live in New York City. You can have a business in New York City. What do you do with the Bitcoin besides it just gather value?
Well, the real estate developers in New York City, they're not buying the real estate because they want to live in it. They're buying the real estate because they expect
because they want to sell it eventually, Michael. I mean, let's be honest. Most of the people who are, yes, sure, some people pass it on to their children, but like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit. So let
me say it a different way.
Okay.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value, there's a name for them. We call them poor. Okay. Anybody that's rich in the world, they own property. They own large swathes of land. The royal family of England, it didn't sell all of its property in central London in order to buy, currency or paper money. Nor did the royal family of Japan. Nor did the royal family in the Middle East. In fact, they want to own the property forever. I want you to imagine Bitcoin is. It's a city in cyberspace that's 276 blocks wide, 276 blocks high, 276 blocks deep, about 21 million blocks. Now imagine all 8 billion people in the world want to live there one day. They want to put their capital there. There's $900 trillion of wealth in the world. As people migrate from every other form of property and they've assets into cyberspace, you're going to see the Bitcoin network go from $1 trillion network to a 10x that to 100x that. And there really is nowhere else to go. It is the apex property of the human race.
All right, so there we go. That's from Michael Saylor, and of course, putting his money, or at least other people's money, where his mouth is. And it's on the upside. And so that looks like it's probably going to get him about, at the current price, about another 6,000 Bitcoin or something like that. So that would take him up to about 211,000 Bitcoin in total for the MicroStrategy. So looking pretty good. In addition to that, of course, he's got the bullishness of the halving coming up. And so let's check out how far away that is. There's the Bitcoin halving on the 17th of April. So that is slowly ticking away. And of course, we've got 34 days to go until that happens as well. So he's front running all that. And he's constantly raising more and more money. All right, that brings us into Ethereum. And of course, Ethereum, big event overnight since the proof of work. And and we had the Deacon upgrade. So fantastic stuff there. That has gone out off without a hitch. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So let's have a look quick, a deep dive into that. Deacon, the biggest upgrade since the merge, has just gone live on the Ethereum network. The Deacon upgrade was successfully rolled out on Ethereum mainnet at 1:55 p.m. UTC time on March the 13th. That was overnight. Deacon is the most anticipated hard fork since the merge, and expect to significantly reduce the transaction fees of layer 2 networks in particular and enhance Ethereum's overall scalability. While the Deacon upgrade is a step in the right direction, it won't improve all the shortcomings of layer 2 solutions. According to Arthur Brightman there, the co-founder of Tezos blockchain, he told Cointelegraph, Deacon upgrade does the bare minimum to extend the data usable by rollups on Ethereum, which should lower transactions in these layer 2 solutions. This is a step in the right direction, but ultimately rollups built on top of Ethereum remain very throughput constrained and are forced to adopt extreme centralization measures there. That there is obviously an issue for a lot of people. Deacon's launch comes nearly a year after Shanghai upgrade in April 2023, which enabled participants to unstake their Ethereum, of course, or Ether, for the first time after network transition to a proof-of-stake network following the merge. The Deacon hard fork incorporates 9 different Ethereum improvement proposals, or EIPs. The upgrade name combines the Cancun upgrade of Ethereum's execution layer with the DNEV upgrade of its consensus layer. And the first part, Cancun, focuses on improving how transactions are managed and processed on the execution layer, with the second part, a DNEV, there aims to improve the consensus layer, which refers to how the network participants agree on the state of the blockchain. The introduction of data blobs via EIP 4844, also known as proto-dank sharding, is amongst the most notable features of the upgrade, according to James Woe, the CEO and founder of Digital Finance Group. He said to Cointelegraph, proto-dank sharding aims to reduce layer 2 transactions fees by enhancing data availability, a crucial move towards establishing Ethereum as a scalable settlement layer. However, the promised fee reductions won't affect Ethereum mainnet users, according to a March 6 report by Max Wellington, a research analyst at Fidelity Investments. He wrote, in the short term, users who wish to benefit from this fee change must sacrifice some decentralization and security by transacting on layer 2s like Optimism and Arbitrum and things instead of Ethereum. This will certainly spur more users to bridge assets elsewhere. However, we strongly believe that transacting on Ethereum for application-specific purposes will still be considered the best option, especially for high-value transactions in the medium term as layer 2 platforms continue to mature. Gas fees on Ethereum, of course, remain pretty high, and we weren't really expecting too much change there on the Ethereum side. Obviously, people are going to continue to speculate and do high-value transactions on Ethereum, so it's going to continue to spur the activity compared to layer 2s. And, of course, there are other good options to layer 2s. There is Pulsechain, which is a layer 1, and, of course, a full system state copy of Ethereum and completely upgradable there too. So Pulsechain obviously offers an incredible alternative. And, of course, I covered that yesterday. Minimum cost, maximum upside on Pulsechain. And, of course, let's not forget the magic cart ride. So that is the play there on that. Now, some of the fees, benefits, you might think, well, what does it actually mean in terms of fees for second layer? Well, on Ethereum, well, you can see here, expected really a no change here on the fee. And, of course, Arbitrum there, that's looking to go down maybe a fifth of the value. So $2 down to 40 cents on Arbitrum. Optimism, $1.42, maybe down to 28 cents. One might reasonably expect from this upgrade. Base at 58 cents, maybe down to 1 cent there. Obviously, subject to how they operate their gas on the chain as well, things like that. So that is pretty much it on those. So that is pretty cool. So that is coming up there. So Deacon upgrade is done. Next big news, of course, is the Bitcoin halving in 34 days. And then we've got another big event there, the Ethereum ETF approvals on the 23rd, which is coming up as well. So crypto has a lot in store still in the next couple of months ahead. So that is on the 23rd. That is 70 days away to the ETF approvals. We're going to try and get a new probability for that event from the Bloomberg analyst, Stefart, and, of course, was it Balkunas? It's a tough name, but that's the one. Then we may even get a good news with the Fed Reserve pivoting on 11th of June. So we still have the first half of the year still looking pretty awesome indeed. So for crypto. may it long continue. So those are kind of the markets at the moment on the crypto. I think we've covered that news pretty well. We're going to get into Pulsechain, of course. Was it day 305? Is it day 305? I think that's the results. I don't know why the date's not updating, but I think it's day 305 we're on now. So let's have a look here. Was it the 13th of May, 2023, the Pulsechain launch? Is that 305? You guys let me know in the chat there. Let's see who else is in here. We've got some more comments. Property View says he is doing good. A sell on Bitcoin, says Property View. What did you think of Saylor's argument for Bitcoin? Altcoins a better option. Well, altcoins are always the chance to leverage off the Bitcoin and Ethereum moves, right? We typically expect Bitcoin to move first, then Ethereum, and of course the major alts, and then the medium altcoins. And so it's kind of the play on those. You're always trying to get that leverage play. That's why we spend so much time in DeFi and other tokens and altcoins. What else we got there? Check my pulse says Apex property until the gates are open to Hex, then the world will see another day without middlemen to earn yield. We are very early Hex ETF. Hex ETF won't really go ahead. I've already talked to Kinetics there, and he on X, and he said that they can't really do much until we get until particularly the Hex Investment Trust getting that format financial product offering on NASDAQ until the SEC thing mulls over. Plus, they also still, as I understand, still need to achieve their goals of $10 million or 50 private investors there. And I know they were getting close, but didn't quite get there. So there's still a few question marks about that. Something you could ask Kinetics if you see him on a live stream, perhaps. What else there? But high fees make you hodl, says check my pulse. They certainly do, probably. What's out there? We got just imagine leveraging the best store of wealth with the best altcoins, says Wookie. Indeed. Well, get ready for the pullback on BTC. I hope that people are taking profits, says Kristen. Well, it's going to definitely be volatile over leading into, and probably more so after the Bitcoin halving in that month, particularly after the Bitcoin halving. So we're going to have a pullback there. That's probably when I would most reasonably expect it. We could still rally up into, say, 90K or so by the halving, and then it's really just after that we probably get to sell the news event, and then maybe a month later we'll see things turn back up. That's kind of the play there. And of course the Ethereum ETFs may give a little bit of life to that as well, and maybe the interest rate pivot. EHEX is alive and well. What? Let's pump it, says Eddie. It certainly is, and you can't keep it down. It's a mutable code, right? So there we go. And as long as it's got liquidity in it, and it's got a lot of investors, of course, it is likely to just keep tracking along there. We're going to talk about that soon. JP Morgan saying to keep rates as they are beyond June, says JP Morgan. Right. Yeah, well, June's the earliest pivot, but July, maybe that's got a higher percentage, more of the market, but 88% of the market was expecting a July pivot. But June's kind of the earliest there. And with, 2/3 of the market, let's say 6%, still the main pick there. And of course, that's what we've been picking on this channel. Now, typically Fed they typically always, they go too long. They pivot too late, and it causes more damage for the economy generally. But we've seen quite a bit of robustness at the moment. But I think the employment's starting to take rest. It's starting to impact it. Let's see what else we got here. So we've got the Pulsechain, day 305, I believe it is. So 00015, the sacrifice price. We are down 1.7 on Pulsechain. We're still 70% above the mean sacrifice price there. Pulsex at the moment, it's kind of had showed a bit of a good showing overnight. Has weakened off a little bit there, down 1%, and that is at 83% of the mean sacrifice price. There's still a bit of work to do there. Seeing a little bit of resistance and fatigue and other stuff when we hit the 0001 mark the other day after the magic carpet ride pump of $15 million. So yeah, quite a lot more resistance there. We've got the Pulsex buy and burn. It just keeps going on there. 744.5 billion Pulsex has been bought up and burned now. That is a 3.65% of the public supply is off the market for Pulsex, and that's a lot of fun. I love to see that number. And of course, incentive token has been the talk of the town. It is the incentive token after all. It kind of speaks for itself. It also, routes things through the liquidity pools and all that sort of good things. Got 2 farms, of course, and it has a scarcity play, right? Very scarce, and we're in a bull market, so it's got everything going for it. 26,327,000 incentive tokens in existence, and of course, it also has TRH there sitting away. And of course, we're expecting TRH to come out V4 in early April, and that should, depending on how that's set up, it's supposed to be quite different, but depending on how that's set up, that may end up burning even more tokens. We shall see. But incentive token is the star of the day, $9.41 with a ratio of 55,529 pulse. Just keeps pushing higher, and it is up 9.82% at the moment. And of course, RH posting about that also. Of course, the higher the incentive liquidity, the more likely capital flows in, and of course, the farms get bigger. And it's the higher the bigger the pool, the more likely things that are pumped, right? So the more money sloshing around. That's kind of the idea. Create big incentives, big carrots, bring over the money, and pump all the assets is kind of the idea there. Hex at the moment, PHEX 1.7 cents, down 7.56% at the moment. And of course, people losing a lot of value there with some of the what do we call it? The what do we call it? X post storm. I think that's what we call it. It's not as catchy as Twitter storm or whatever, but X post storm there from Richard Hart. Anyway, PHEX also being a casualty at the moment. You got to remember this short-term market behavior at the moment, but was down 7.56%. And of course, the EHEX there is at a quarter of a penny at the moment. So holding okay at the moment is the old EHEX, but certainly down from yesterday. So compared to our assessment yesterday, we had another round from Richard Hart. So that's impacted the market again. So the combined price of EHEX and PHEX is at 1.94 cents. It was only a little while ago we were up at 3 cents. Even up is up at almost 3.5. So we're down at 1.94 cents. But, short-term market conditions, that's pretty much how you might spell it out at this stage. Let's go over to, we're going to check out a lot more about that later on when we cover Hex in detail with a lot of things around the penalties and things like that. It's a big payday for Hex people on Ethereum today, if you've still got your T-shares, that is. Let's jump over to the charts. And, of course, there we go. The range today, the low at 1643. With 3 zeros for Pulse, the high of 1768. So fairly tight range there. We're currently about in the middle at 1704 at the moment on Pulsechain. And of course, the RSI just cooling off a little bit there down at 63. It's always good to see the RSI cool off if you want to make another move. And the MACD is closing out a little bit, but will it fully close? We will see. That's kind of where we are at the moment. Tons of projects to launch on Pulsechain. Nothing new there. Pulsex, of course, is doing slightly better. In some ways, it is 000, a little bit almost indeterminate candle today, but quadruple 083,000 is where we are at the moment. The high is been almost 8,900, which is pretty good. The low has been 8,097. So there we go. That's the range. We're currently almost sitting in the middle. The RSI is still pretty overheated there, a little bit overheated. 71, not grossly overheated, but just a little bit. 71 there, not so cooled off as Pulsechain. And of course, the MACD there still looking pretty strong on the MACD with a little bit of pullback there in the chart, but otherwise everything looking pretty good. And we have PowerCity out there doing some good things with the EARN protocol. They did some key upgrades and features today. We're going to maybe talk about that later. That is Pulsex. Incentive token though is the talk of the town, and this thing is the rising. As I said, it's got all those pumpamental features to it that I said earlier. And of course, let's have a look. The RSI is pretty hot at 81, but the thing keeps on going up to the right there. And of course, getting a lot of buy signals from the founder. And of course, let's have a look at the pulse there. So 55,500, and it's almost 555. It is so close. It's 4.26. That's hilarious. Almost 555. Have you guys noticed the last week how many 555s or fives have been coming up in combination? Isn't that crazy? That's been amazing there. We had a good breakout there. We called that pretty well. And off the races we are at the moment. So it looks unstoppable. Incentive token is where the mad gains are in the Richard Hart tokens. And of course, that's unlikely to stop in due course, given the momentum and direction where everything's heading. And of course, the magic carpet ride indeed. So up 10% today, start of the day there. Richard Hart. And of course, some call him the meme coin of the Richard Hart gold crypto. What else there? The one meme coin to rule them all. Is that it? Is that what it's going to be? So anyway, we've got a lot of updates from Richard. I'm not going to read all these out. There's a lot, so you can go in and look up Richard's feed if you want to get it's Richard Hart Win on X if you want to check that out. But we're going to go through a few things here. Obviously, Richard getting a bit of pushback from a lot of people. Those who yelled at me for pointing out Hex is better than EHEX should say so. The real question is why were you saying it? Well, I don't agree with this statement, so we're going to move on from that one. I think everybody was saying that, so I'm not sure who he's talking to there exactly. Maybe some of the trolls on X, I don't know. Interesting, you get more for selling 1 million of Hex on Pulsex than you get for Ethereum DEXs. So Pulsex liquidity is thicker for Hex bridge to Pulsechain than Uniswap was. Well, this is 23 hours ago, so things have changed a little bit there, but there we go. What else we got? Richard, you must. So a lot of capitalization here, and of course, Richard, you must let Ethereum make another 100 million on Hex comes back. You must not tell them about real Hex on Pulsechain. They must pay 400 for swaps on ETH. So maybe he's talking to some of the third-party influencers out there that were doing TA and calling EHEX for the big run. Of course, there's the BankX wall in there, all that sort of stuff. And so maybe he's referring to that. Because I think it would make me more money. Silence Richard, do what is wrong on the community, but right for me. Now, we already knew for a long time, many years ago, obviously that Ethereum's more expensive. It's going to be more expensive as each bull cycle comes up. So nothing new there. But, you know, Richard there reaching out to some part of the community out there, I guess. Predicting the future is hard. No one knew for certain what Hex would be worth, much more than EHEX, or that liquidity would move, it seems, entirely to Pulsechain. Nor could we people know for certain Ethereum gas fees would stay insane, but you knew it was a possibility. No, we knew it was a probability, not a possibility. So there's not really much in this one. And, of course, we're going to skip through some of this. Here's the good news. It's a perfect storm for Pulsex, Pulsechain, and Hex. Agree with all that. The majority of guys won. Most people have moved over and are enjoying the amazing affordable fees. Thousands of times cheaper, millions of dollars saved. It's wonderful news. If you think about it, how could a second chain possibly save anybody on fees if you had to end stakes on 2 chains instead of 1? Only by people stopping wasting money on expensive chain. And what's the only way to do? What way they might stop doing that? Now, of course, we all knew all this information, so there's nothing really new there. But Richard's, you know, he's expressing himself, so that's cool. Now, do you like a new use of paying $7 on average to swap into your coin? So just to keep on going about the ETH fees there. Let's jump through some of that. You know, part of the reason Hex is doing as well as it is, Hart's Law, since most of the liquidity in Pulse is doing great, it gets a free ride up, 100%. If you guys are tired of idiots posting the Hex starts as though it were Hex, you could let ranking sites know what the Hex is on the Pulsechain. It has been called Hex for 9 months now and is where all liquidity is. So just more about EHEX there. I'm going to jump through all those. Something here about the Ethereum Classic fork. Hex had a fork and left over Hex on Ethereum. So obviously Richard's Hearts had other comments about Hex in the past, so we won't get into all that drama, but you guys know what it is. Some consider market supply of Hex on Pulsechain much lower than the market supply of Hex on Ethereum ever had because of the sacrifices. An interesting thought. No one really knows the answer to. Not financial advice, past performance, no guarantee the future, etc. If you're worried about Pulsechain going up 14,000x in price and how much it might cost to end a Hex stake, I believe you could get a $1 of Pulse to afford $14 of later fees. It's funny to me when people use this idea to try and attack Pulse. Well, there's other arguments against that one, isn't there? But anyway, I won't leave that one. Richard, Hex on Ethereum is your firstborn. Let Hexkins get nuked for another 100 million in fees because you're firstborn, bro. Ignore the already wonderful working Hex on Pulsechain, bro. Ignore the market already chose, bro. And of course, ignore the liquidity, bro. Firstborn, bro, in quotes. And of course, that's just 100 million of fees at the years where the fees are far lower. It would be even more and now much more. All right, so he's got a lot more about that. So you can check all that stuff out there. I'm not going to go through all those because I'll be here for a little while. Let's jump through some of that. So 18 hours gear, a lot about the drama. So you guys can check all that stuff out. Let's scroll through. Then we get to incentive token. So 3 hours ago, incentive token went up 25x in 3 months. And of course, we just looked at that chart and isn't even on a coin ranking site. Only has 32,000 holders. 30% of its total supply is in 142 million liquidity across the 2 peers. And of course, those are doing pretty well. So it's just highlighting that as well. Incentive is also cool because it's probably its demand from all stupid meme coins is way more liquid than all of them on Pulsechain. Since its liquidity is paired with Pulse and Pulsex, the order router buys them first to get best execution order, then bridge and DAI ETH USDT. And USD Tether sits in the PLS pair. High ink in price makes yield. Sorry, high ink price makes yield and farms higher, which increases liquidity for Pulse, Pulsex incentive. And thus it is a meme coin with the utility. Its price has also gone up and down, and the most volatile of Pulsex, Pulse incentive, and Hex. If the price keeps going down, if the price keeps doing what it's done done over the last 3 months, you might even get more eyeballs on everything. And of course, we agree with all that stuff. So there we go. Yeah, so that is incentive token. There we are. So that's all the updates from Richard. Obviously, I missed out a few little paragraphs there and there, but you can check that out as well. So more stuff around eHex and more stuff around incentive token. Obviously, Pulsechain is the place where the magic carpet ride is going to be pumping, folks. That's probably the clear message to take out of it. And of course, the rest of it we all knew, right? So we all knew the rest of it. You're probably talking to some of the TA guys out there potentially that have been calling for eHex to be pumping. And of course, he probably doesn't want too much attention to be going that direction because Pulsechain is the place to be. Now, obviously, there's different impacts on people depending on when you invested, whether you're pre-fork, post-fork, and I understand those are all legitimate, but we're going to move on from there. The market will decide ultimately, right? Immutable code and liquidity pools on the DEXs there. All right, so that is kind of it on there. We're going to jump to Hex there. Here is PHEX. At the moment, PHEX 1.7 cents. We just jumped into the new day. We had a low of 1.584 cents on Pulsechain for PHEX. That's Hex on Pulsechain. And we had 1.944 cents at the top of the range. That's for a PHEX or Hex on Pulsechain. So that is kind of the play there. And that's a bit of a decent range, right? That's almost half a penny of a range there, or 4/10 of a penny at least in that range yesterday. We've just started a brand new day. Will it be a green day? Bring on green days. But that is it. And of course, we had a hyper pump on Richard's first X post storm, and of course we got a sell off on again on the further X post storms that he's had today over the last 24 hours. So we had a big rally, got all the way up almost to 3 cents on the old PHEX, came all the way down almost to 1/2 cents. So lost 50% of the value there, and it's back up to 1.7 cents at the moment. So we're watching this obviously short term focus there, and of course the founder there, just I guess reminding people of the narrative. I don't know, you decide. But of course we all know about past statements, so I'll just leave that there. We got eHex Pulse there at the moment. So eHex Pulse at the moment, that went all the way down. So this is eHex bridged into Pulsechain, operating in the Pulsechain pools, and of course we got all the way down to 1/1600th of a penny, and then we pushed all the way back up here, back to 1/4 of a penny here at the moment. So that's not too bad. Obviously, Pulsechain came down, Hex went down too, but the eHex went down and then came back up. So we've got PHEX, eHex ratio there. We're going to look at that in a minute. Liquidity at the moment on this particular pair, eHex and Pulse, is 359K. And of course, remember, it's a V2, so it's got 50% liquidity. There's $179,000 in each side of the pool, Pulse being the other side, right? So that's the case at the moment on the eHex. Let's have a look at the ratio between PHEX and eHex. You guys know I like to inverse it because I always like to see that. So we're going to do that in a minute. But here we are with Hex wrapped deep. Actually, I'm jumping ahead of a chart. But this is so we just looked at eHex on Pulsechain. This is eHex on Ethereum. So eHex on Ethereum here, you can see it's about the same price, similar looking pattern, of course. Even though they're on 2 different blockchains with liquidity pools, they tend to follow each other. And we're still at 1/4 of a penny here on eHex on Ethereum. So 51K in liquidity in there. This is the V2 pool. Obviously, there's 2 V3 pools as well that are pretty big. This V2 pool requires 50/50 liquidity as well. There is currently 81 ETH in there, $325,000 of liquidity there at the moment. So that's ticking away as well. So there we are, 2002.25. What else are we going to say about that? So that's kind of where it's tracking at the moment on the old eHex. And let's jump over to BankX. All right, so BankX here, the wall is still there. Nothing's changed with the wall. You can see the BankX wall sitting here on the V3 pool. This is V3 USDC, not the one we just showed you, which was the wrapped ETH pool, but this is USDC, and it's sitting all the way over here. Whereas the price of Hex is all the way down here. Where is it? Down here. Yeah, down here this way. So this is all the way on the sell wall. Nothing's really changed with that. About $40 million, about 650 million Hex sitting here. And let's see what happens to it, whether it moves or whatever, because the price isn't going there for a while. If it does, and there we go at the moment. All right, so that is kind of it. Now let's look at the ratio of PHEX to eHex. You guys know I have it inversed so that we see the PHEX for every eHex. So we had some pretty dramatics. This on the daily chart. We got all the way up to the top of the 10 range, which I talked about yesterday. And of course, we got up to 10 there. Now we've been as low. Of course, we started off the whole game at at 1.74. So that's kind of where we started. Then we went all the way up to 6.3 to 1. We came all the way back down to 3.7. And of course, you start talking about, oh yeah, we could reasonably sit at 4. We may still come back to 4 unless the trend is not your friend. And of course, we're at 6.6 at the moment. Of course, getting another round from Richard has pushed the market, and a lot of people emergency in-staked and are coming over to the magic carpet ride on Pulsechain, right? So that's kind of the play. Now, the magic carpet ride on Pulsechain was always assumed, and of course, that is the play. We've been playing the videos non-stop here on the channel, of course. And of course, there we are at 6.64 at the moment. So we're going to watch this ratio over the next wee while. Now, let's go to the hourly chart, and we can see how this all happened. So we rallied up big time. A lot of early in-stake penalties that we did sort of chilled here. Penalties got a lot more modest, and then we started rising up to here again. We had another volume and a couple other volumes in here. So we had 2 sort of volume periods, a lot of early in-staking there. And so we had one wave up to the ratio up to 6.64 after bottoming out at 3.7. And then we got all the way up to 10.4. Now we're back down at 6.6. So this does seem to be a range that the market likes at the moment. Look at this first move. We moved at 6.23, and now we're at 6.6. So we're going to sit in here around 6.5 for a while. We'll be definitely watching that. Remember, we're always going to have that BankX resistance at 1.2 if it stays there, right? So that is kind of the assumptions at the moment on Hex PX. Let's look at the combined price now of EHEX and PX, 1.949 cents. Man, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that 3 cents. But, you know, Hex can move violently when it's going to move. So we'll still hold out for that. And, of course, particularly PX, that is the main game. Pulsechain's always been the main game. Obviously, the magic carpet ride and all that sort of stuff. That is where we are at the moment. So 3 cents is that magical breakout point. We've got to beat that at some stage. We've already pierced it a couple of times. But, of course, then Richard came out with this, I guess he's talking to the TA guys out there. I don't know. But there we go, 1.95 cents. That is the play at the moment. So that is on PX EHEX. Let's jump back here to the rest of the market here. So we're at day 305. We're grey at the moment, about 300,000 beats. That's not too bad. 2 cents for a Pulsex transfer, 1 cent for a Pulsecoin transfer, 3/10 of a penny for a PRC20 transfer, and we're 3,900 times cheaper than Ethereum. 51 grey on Ethereum at the moment, $72.70 to do a swap. So, would you pay 2 cents? Would you pay $72.70? Obviously, Pulsechain super cheap at the moment. Of course, it will get more expensive as Pulsechain gets more valuable, and that also impacts on Hex in-stakes as well. There we are. But once again, you ride the Pulsechain up, you ride that up, and you're going to be able to ride ETH up that much. You may be 2-3x, right, compared to the in-stakes. That's kind of the argument there. 2,500 times cheaper than Bitcoin, $2.74 on Bitcoin at the moment. Let's jump over to the, did I talk about the validators? Can't remember. There's validators there, 49,562, and we've got 1.59 trillion off the market. Finally, the bridge. So look at the bridge at the moment. Bridge at 144. Remember, we peaked out at over 180. I think it was 185, 186 million. We've come back down to 144. I can see that DAI has just got a little bit lower from yesterday. And the Hex, of course, EHEX is down dramatically. So that's a big part of that pullback, right down 11.3 million there on the EHEX there, bridged over. So the Pulsechain. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. USDL has been flipped. It's a flippening, folks. It is the flippening. We've got a 19.5 million USDL, and we now have 22.5 million PXDC. Obviously, there's been a bit of drama, I believe, around USDL, particularly around Oracle, Future Oracle, particularly around redemptions and things like that. I know that he put out stuff there as well, so I'm not sure what else has been out there, but that's some of the things that let me know in the chat if you've seen anything that I haven't talked about. PXDC, though, 22.5 million US dollars. So PXDC is now, what does that make it? 22.4. That makes it number 3 biggest stablecoin on Pulsechain is the PXDC. And yeah, looking pretty cool. So USDL used to be at least number 2 biggest stablecoin. It got up to about $32 million, but that is down now at the moment. And I noticed that things have changed a lot there. So that is it at the moment. So PXDC, Power City, that is even more valuable. And will the market value it accordingly? We'll probably check the charts out later on for that. But that is what's happening there. Lock percentage of Pulsechain at the moment, 2.6 trillion pulse off the market. Not bad. Yeah, 885 billion Pulsex is off the market. Hasn't reached a trillion yet. We're what, day 8 is it on Power City? So still very early. Let's see if we can get that 1 trillion and maybe even start tracking up to 2 trillion. We will see. Obviously, as the prices go up, people want to borrow more and put their Pulsechain and leverage that. So we'll see how that goes. All right, that is pretty much it for today. I believe it's 3:05, and we're going to get into some of the news around that. Now, some people are providing support for eHex. Obviously, Daytona there saying poor eHex got taken to the back of the bar and got sucker punched in the back of the head. This is from Daytona. I think it's pretty funny. As long as a long-term eHex staker, and which, you know, there's 9.5 million T-shares out there. Most people are. And of course, as long as a long-term eHex staker and holder, it sucks to see this, but I believe every dog has its day, and a phoenix can rise from the ashes. Let's try to help eHex out and plug it into the Atropa network and see if we can give it some wings. The Data Finance is happy to announce our new V2 Pulsechain Farm eHex Atropa. Happy farming, no sacrifices, no pre-sales, no tracking around. And of course, that's on Data Finance, stake, earn, and cruise on Pulse. Now, just remember that whenever you take your tokens out of your wallet, you are taking on a lot more risk. Obviously, 100% risk ultimately on your tokens. Just remember that relative to everything else. But there we go. They're offering some support there. Now, there's been a lot of different views from a lot of influencers about all this stuff. You can go check them out, and there's a lot of good ones I like. So you go find those. And you may not agree with them, but you go find them yourself. All right, so that's pretty much it on that one. Now we're getting into the top PRC 20s. Before we do that, though, let's get back in the chat. And so a few people here as well. Let's go for gold and see who else has jumped in here. We're going to go back up here. What did we get up to? I think we got up to that. Talked about that. Eddie says, yeah, I think we got up to that. It was the last comment, wasn't it? eHex is alive and well. Let's pump it. Yeah, it's still going. Still going to trade. What else there? We got up to that. Archie's in the house. Hi, Archie. Good to see you. Tom Coin says, any thoughts on P-Wrap Bitcoin and PDI? Is it possible liquidity is bonded through Maker and Compound? That theory is out there, Tom Coin. Tom Kane, we do talk about that in Discord. We're going to have a session on that coming up, actually. So you might want to jump in Discord for that. But hey, I've been calling PDI and Wrap Bitcoin, and those calls have been excellent, and including our very own Brennan, who's been very good with the TA on PDI. So yeah, we've been winning on those ones. Check my pulse says hindsight is 2020. RH shook out a lot of weak people. League hands big payday in 2020. They lived delayed gratification. Now it's my turn. Ready for the challenge. Let's check my pulse. Reality is, says PSI, is that the narrative of blockchain's first CD is dead on ETH with the gas fees. My stake from 2 years ago that cost me $5,000 is worth $80, but the cost unstake was over $200. So I'm letting it bleed. Well, you know, I guess it's the price though. Is that what counts, right? PSI. What is the price going to be on that? And of course, Richard put out little videos about expensive hex on both chains, so you can decide for yourself. What is for the win? What else there? We got without the narrative, it's just a meme coin now, says PSI. That is true. That is true. Hex to Mars says RH, thanks for the big payday today, says Hex to Mars. Well, that's right. That's the other way to look at it as well. And I look at it that way too. So it's probably another way. What's great is RH saw this coming and brought us Pulsechain. Thank you, RH, is PSI. Hello, Hex Token, everybody. Sandy Beach is in the house. Hey, good to see you, Sandy. Always a pleasure to have Sandy, just an incredible influencer out there doing great stuff for the health and fitness of Pulsechain Hex community. We really appreciate that. Don't forget to follow her up with her squat challenge this month. They did the press-up challenge last month and squat challenge this month. All right, let's see here. Brennan says 2,000 gets you 1 million eHex at the moment. Wow, if you stake that for 10 years at this price, 450 T-shares still yields you 2 million in the future, says Brennan. But what will liquidity be then, says Brennan? That's right. Liquidity is a very important part of the puzzle there. What else we got going there? PSA says, I'm not upset. RH is trying to help people. I do think he could have delivered the message a little differently, and it wouldn't have upset people as much. I agree with you on that, PSI. What else there? Check my pulse says, not sure if I interpreted the tweet correctly, but I never heard him say sell or early in stake. That's true, but I wasn't planning on selling now or soon, so I'm staying the course. But it was a direction, in a certain direction. Check my pulse. So that's the actions that you would have to do to follow through on that for some people. All right, we got the Discord there. Join up the Discord today, Pulsechain Hex Discord, and of course, pretty much the number one that was on there. For that, we really pioneered on Discord there for Pulsechain Hex. So get in on that. And of course, we have a special strategy club, which is multi-chain. We're looking for great multi-chain opportunities as well. Get in there as well. We are going to have a session this weekend. Thomas says you should just look at EHEX as a dead meme play. Well, that's kind of where it is to some degree, like buying FTX or Luna. Founder laughs at anyone buying. You really love a gamble if you're still buying, says Tom Boss there. So there are different perspectives as well. Now, it's just trading, but it's trading, right? It's going to trade anyway. After this, the round of posts, it will do its own thing, right? So we'll be tracking it, of course, because it's what we cover. There is a lot of investors in that protocol on Ethereum. All right, let's move on. Let's going to get into top PRC 20s, and this is where we're going to get into this PDI discussion. So PDI there down 5% at the moment, and of course the price there is just cooled off a little bit after the RSI heated over there, got into overbought territory 81. But man, what a rally that was! A big shout out to Brandon once again. He's had amazing calls the last week. He's in our strategy club, and of course does amazing stuff there. 3/3500th of a penny, and we got down to as low as 3200th of a penny on this move, and of course just chilled out here on the RSI at the moment. So that's kind of where PDI is, and of course looking to consolidate a pretty decent range, probably get back in here. Certainly has support at 3200, and it bounced off that so far. So let's see where we go from there. I guess the next challenge is to get to 1 cent, and that is where we're up to. We did get to a high of 55, so 5500ths of a penny. Over half a penny. A penny is in front of the old PDI. That is the next target. Wrap Bitcoin, of course, was another great call on the channel. And, of course, we followed the breakout here on the yellow line. $94 was always going to be a big breakout. And, of course, up it went to, got to $329. Some people on Discord had a good amount of Wrap Bitcoin making good gains. Got to $329. We were pretty much watching it on the high in real time. And, of course, it came back down. After sell-off, we sort of thought it might get a bit heavy here. Always got a chance to go a super hyper during this bull market is the old Wrap Bitcoin, following the Bitcoin narrative, right? So there we go, back down to 174 at the moment. RSI just got overbought on the RSI. Always good to use the RSI. It really does help most of the time with making the good calls. And of course, here we are at 64 at the moment. Don't go FOMO into charts if you haven't looked at the RSI. It really can be a nice, like a bucket of water over your face, just in case you realize, oh, actually, this thing is really hot on the RSI. Maybe I should chill. Maybe I should chill on this. All right, so that is pretty much it on the Wrap Bitcoin. What else we got going? Teddy Bear's down 17%, and let's see what else there. Maker is pretty flat at the moment. Maker another speculative play right on the Maker theory, the Richard Hart theory there. We got Wrap Bitcoin. What else there? Pepe side, the two big meme coins. Pepe down 22% and SHIB down 5.8%. Now, Pepe's been making a good tier, right, on Pulsechain. The uptrend is still very intact. Look at that. But has rejected twice now of 3,500 with 7 zeros in front of it. Now down to 2,500 there. Maybe a good zone to accumulate. And the RSI is chilled off there at 57. So not too bad. That is Pepe there as well. SHIB, though. SHIB has it had its day. Let's have a look at SHIB. This is SHIB here at the moment. Just trading in the sideways channel here. Resistance at 2100 with 6 zeros. Currently at 1400 with 6 zeros at the moment. RSI is right back at 50. Could be a nice little bounce from here on the old SHIB. So keep a lookout for that. Obviously, memes have been the mega theme for the bull market so far, along with AI coins and certain ROI protocols and things like that. So that's kind of the play. What else is looking pretty nice there? Aave up 77%. Woo! Hot dog and a dog. Aave there on Pulsechain. Big pump today. Bounced off 1,400 to 2,500. Even got to 3,000 on the move. RSI is still pretty chill at 62. So we'll see whether that can break up to the upside. Definitely not nice up channel up there at the moment. We're going to get another move. Got the room for it. So let's see how we go there. What would the resistance be? Maybe 4,800 on another move. We'll be watching out for that. And what else is looking pretty good there? Link up 7%. Uniswap up 14% there. Those are some of the big movers there, folks, today. Well, let's jump over to Pulsechain memes and influencer coins. You guys know you love these influencers. I love them too. Let's get onto it. We got PTGC at the moment is at down 7%. Now, PTGC has been one of the best performers on Pulsechain. And, of course, look at this, holding up very well indeed. At 7,000, and of course the high has been up at 10,000, lost to zero for a little while. and just chilling at the moment. Now, I don't have an RSI on this, so let's add one in. RSI. Now, this is obviously a tax token and a DAO token. They have lots of resolutions and get things moving. They also have the alien token, which helps burn it as well. And it's ticking away. The RSI is real chill at 48. A good zone for buying if you want to get into it. Now, obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. You must do your own due diligence. But the RSI there looks pretty good, along with you might want to get a few other indicators. But this looks pretty good at the moment on the old PDGC. Now, it does have taxes and things like that, so do your due diligence. Check out the website. Watch some videos, things like that. Access Alive is down 20%. Man, this thing has not recovered. It's a bit of a shame, really. It's been doing so well. Look at this thing. It almost looked like the PDGC thing. Everything has a nice big arc, but it's these arcs show that things are rolling over sometimes. This one's a bit harder because it's very long, but the flatter it gets, the less it gets up there. The harder it gets there. Now it got up to $38,500 pretty much. It is down. It got a couple of whales took it down with the sales. It has really not recovered the last couple of days. Even more whale sales here. Look at this. So the big red candles. And down it goes to 71.65. I'm not aware of any specific news around this, so you'd have to check that out on Access Alive to see what his comments are about it, but definitely down 71.65 at the moment. So there we go. I'm just looking at the chart as it is rather than any background knowledge why that is going down. Note token for Randy Alaski. I keep saying it. It's like a stable coin almost. It's very resistant to going down. So down 4.2% at the moment. And at 1,600, a nice little buy there. Let's go check it out. Randy was in here yesterday, I believe. And he's doing a great job there with his no permissions. If you haven't followed that, it's one of his basically private community. Has lots of intel and things like that. Just like I have Strategy Club. He gets into stuff there too. Now that is pretty. It's just humming down, but not doing too bad at the moment. 1,600 and 401k liquidity. It's accepted token on Pulsepot and also on multiple liquidity pools, including farming on the 9-inch decks as well. So ticking away pretty well. Looking forward to future things from Randy, and obviously a pretty big influence in the space as well. All right, let's get back out of here. What else we got going on this one? Yeah, alien token related to PGGC down 15%. Mega down 1.4. Now I just want to jump through these. Hex on address from Abit down 15%. Paul Pleb down 9% from Hexy Bastard. Ben V1, this is V1, Ben Armstrong, that's down 2%. More token from Trayvon down 4% at the moment. But that's done pretty well, hasn't it? The old More token. Look at that chart. Not bad, right? You'd be pretty happy with that if you got in, depending on when you get in, of course. But it's not too bad there. And the RSI is chilled off at 52, so it could be a bit of upside for that coming in the future. No doubt in the bull market. I don't have any doubt about that too much. Obviously, you can have doubts because you do your own due diligence. But there we go. That is pretty much it for that category. The final category number 4. Let's go into it. And, of course, let's see what's going on here. So these are the Pulsechain projects. So these are utilities and major projects that are launched on Pulsechain. This is my custom list, which pretty much should have all of them on them. Hopefully, I'm not missing too many. I will go and double check, but I'm pretty sure I got them all. At least 99% of them. We've got everything's pretty much down on the leaders here, actually. The earn token there is at 80 cents. I'm going to point out some stuff here. Pulsepot, of course, the world's first peer-to-peer crypto casino, is down 12% today at $14.22. Let's have a look here. Now, just before we move on to Pulsepot, there will be some upgrades today on Pulsepot. There were some upgrades yesterday. So check out Pulsepot regularly because they're doing a lot of updates there, especially around the new price calls game, which I posted out yesterday. They had a few things around just being able to use Pulse, but they've got other tokens you're going to be able to use on that too. So just check up on that. I think they're fixing that up today. Check that out when it comes up. What else is, let's have a look through some of these. We're going to get ZX, the Tornado Cash Fork. If you want privacy, that's one of your options to use that. Up 7% on that one. I think there's 2 main options now for privacy coins, if I remember right, maybe 3. But that is one of them. And 1% there on App Token. Everything pretty much down today. Dex, one of our latest Dexes, is up 4%. And Vemp there, the Web3 gamer, this is up 27% there. They're doing a lot of stuff in the gaming space. And they could end up being quite a big enterprise there. We keep watch out for them as well. So that's pretty much it. Let's see what the best opportunities are for pickups. Obviously, Vemp doing the best there. Let's have a look at some of the worst ones there. So Earn Pro token down 20% almost. but had some pretty good updates today on the protocol. That's down 18%, so maybe a pickup there. What else there? Loan token is down 16%. Obviously, there's issues going on there, but that may be a pickup too if you're satisfied with them addressing things. Definitely check out Crypto Crazy's latest video. A weight token from Coast is down 14%. Obviously, we're waiting for Coast services to get back on. That's our only direct fiat on-ramp to Pulsechain. We're waiting for that to get back up as well. So that's kind of the play there. Pulse LN down 10%. Maybe an opportunity there. One of our on-ramps, including Bitcoin Lightning Network to Pulsechain. So definitely worth maybe checking out that at the moment. That's kind of the highlights there. All right, let's jump away to some of the news. We got Proteus at the moment. Proteus, the big DEX aggregator on Pulsechain, will be implementing new investments within the next 24 hours. This will double our capacity, resulting in significantly faster response times and enabling Proteus DEX aggregator to continue to provide stable service even during chain congestion. We saw that the other day, right? We saw it when we had the magic carpet ride pump of 15 million. Proteus just could not keep up with the changes on the network with the movement. So we had to use, we couldn't even Pulsex wasn't keeping up with the routing either. And we had to, if you want to do some trades, you generally had to get, if you didn't have something set up fast for it, you would generally have to go and look at some of the other DEXs, the smaller DEXs like PX or 9-inch or Omnis or something like that. You had to, if you wanted to get a trade because you had separate liquidity pools, right? You have to go directly to those. So, and even those were under pressure, right? Because people were going to those quickly. So it's nice to see an improvement here going on with Proteus. So big shout out to them. Now, obviously, Proteus has also got their PDI, the next big project. It's coming up. And of course, this is looking amazing. Now, the 8th day of the PDI sacrifice was completed. And of course, they've raised over $500,000 so far. That's still open. That is the first artificial intelligence project that I'm aware of on Pulsechain. And of course, that's going to be a pretty big protocol too. So I don't know what the timeline and delivery is, but the sacrifice there is looking pretty good. And of course, if Pulsechain assets price pump, then you can get pretty good value there. So that's from Proteus, doing a pretty good job. Coast, the big fiat on-ramp. Pulsechain, Coast will be back soon. Obviously, a lot of people really wanting to get a really good deal there. And of course, this person here, Crypto Filth, says, while Coast is temporarily closed for business, how are you on-ramping fiat right now? I'm tired of waiting to deposit fresh cash on the Pulsechain, but the fees to use other services are generally ridiculous. And Coast there says, we'll be back soon. Pulsechain will have a robust fiat on-ramp for the next phase of the bull market. Now, obviously, they're trying to get multiple providers. Always have a single provider. When you have a single provider, you got one single attack vector, one single point of failure. And of course, having multiple is really cool. They're also looking at doing their own, as I understand it. So that hopefully that service will be back soon. It is very important for Pulsechain. So what have we got? About 4.3 million CST stablecoins from that. And obviously over time, that's going to just grow. So looking forward to that. Now, Power City Portal X. So we talked about Proteus, the DEX aggregator. Well, Power City, of course, has Portal X. That's another DEX aggregator, one of our top ones there. And of course, Portal X has been updated and is working faster than ever. So all of them addressing that routing and getting prices. When markets move real fast and you've got lots of activity there, then especially those bots on Pulsechain, then you need to, you need a better service. So they're always trying to improve the speed. So hopefully that will work better and better. Under extreme situations, I still think it's all going to struggle. But as long as it, gets better and better, you can't ask much more than that. Porix has been updated and is now working faster than ever. However, there are currently some upgrades underway regarding on-chain swaps. So this is not this is on-chain swaps on Pulsechain specifically, not the cross-chain side. Swap tokens around on any chain to any other chain and even bridge into Pulsechain there. Pulsechain specific on chain swaps will be reactivated once the additional functionality is updated. Now, I don't know if that's already been done, but this was when the post was come out. That was 10 hours ago, so it may have been done by now. I'm not sure, but you can check that out. So that is some of the latest and greatest for the utilities and on-ramping to Pulsechain. Now, we have a whole list of on-chain swaps for Ethereum, for Pulsechain, and for fiat on-ramps. And of course, we have that in our Discord under useful links. If you're looking for some of the best sites, that is a good place to go to and find it in our Discord link in the video description. Now, the other thing, of course, is today we are expecting massive penalties. And you can see here, now Hex Day stats is lagging a little bit in terms of updating. But you can see here a massive on Ethereum there, 1 billion Hex in penalties today on Ethereum. It's crazy for day 1563. And of course, look at that, a payout of 60.5 Hex on the Ethereum side. That is some crazy stuff there. Now, we also had big penalties on the Pulsechain side as well. Then that's disappeared. We had big penalties on the Pulsechain side. I can't remember the exact number it was, so I won't say it, but it was pretty decent as well. So obviously we had some people not happy about the situation on both chains. And of course, that 1 billion, big payday. Now, for the majority of people have got their T-shares on Ethereum, so they're just going to get paid. Sit back and relax. The contract keeps doing what it's going to do. And there we are at 60.5 at the moment on that payout. So, yeah. Now, we do have the results out for day 1562 on Ethereum. So let me just, we didn't read this out yesterday, but yesterday we got on Ethereum there for EHEX, we got, the 12th of March, we got 6.991 hex per T-share there on that payout. And of course, let's jump over to the ownership pool. Ownership pool had actually an increase of 4,000 T-shares on Ethereum. How about that? So obviously today's results will come in for day 1563. That's bound to be very negative with all those 1 billion in penalties. So we'll see a big end stake in there. We're sitting at 9,462,000 T-shares on the Ethereum side now for Hex. Let's jump over to the penalties. 2 million penalties yesterday. Obviously, we know we've got 1 billion today. So 66 million for that. So maybe in the next 20 minutes, an hour, hopefully it will update, or maybe it will take 24 hours. I don't know, but it will come out soon enough. We'll find out exactly what the payout was from there. Oh, we actually already know. Sorry, I read it out before. Now, we obviously had less holders, liquid holders, but the trend is dropping, and we had 17 losses today on there, but we also had more T-shares. So there we go. So 118,652 miners on the Ethereum side. Now, the Pulsechain results for yesterday's numbers aren't out, but hopefully today's results will get out there soon. So I think we're on day 1564. Yeah, we are. And Pulsechain, I think it's day 306 on Pulsechain that we're starting up there. So there we go. Now, one way to look at Hex, which is Robbie Davidson. He kind of he's been around for a long time. He's a big Hexican, and of course, he has the largest EHEX payout ever, over 1 billion in penalties. That is a beautiful thing, and of course, we love it. Rumor has it that I love the Hex payouts more than Briz. Just want to let that out there, let that sit out in the internet. That Superman loves the Hex payouts more than Brizology. There we go. And of course, the largest, apparently Robin Davidson loves them too. Largest EHEX payout ever, over 1 billion in penalties. I'm going to sit back, chill, and enjoy the show with all my T-shares on both blockchains, and that's what the vast majority of people are going to do, folks. There's 9.5 million T-shares there. They're not going anywhere too much. We're going to see some penalties. We've seen some of that, but that is where it is. It's a mutable code on the blockchain there, and there is the numbers. Look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo! 60 hex per T-share there. Now, Pulsechain is the main game. There's no joke about that. That is where the magic carpet ride is going to be. And to talk about that, we're going to look at the wallet that's over here. This is the one that bought $50 million of Hex the other day. It was kind of the second major move that we've seen. We've seen other moves, but that was kind of the big one there we saw the other day on Pulsex. And of course, it's still got millions of dollars in stable coins. RAPD 2.3 million, 2 million in DAI, 1 million in USDC there. And of course, it's holding all that Hex that it bought up as well. 205 billion Hex there. Now, we've also got, of course, the Sacrifice wallets, the Magic Carpet Ride, holding approximately 178,000 ETH the last time we looked. And of course, that is a gain of about $40 million. So there we go, about $40 million gain. So that is sitting at about, what is that, $685 million or so at the moment. So there's a lot of money. And of course, if ETH keeps going up, that Magic Carpet Ride Sacrifice wallet arguably will get up into the billions. And that will be good times to do that. We're going to be looking at Richard Hart's golden wand, at least the Magic Carpet Ride's golden wand. Maybe Richard can whisper in its ear, and we will be watching the Magic Carpet Ride on Pulsechain play out with all the cool fundamentals that we've talked about for months and years on this channel. So there we go. That is some hype there for you guys on the way. Magic Carpet Ride still in play. So enjoy it, folks. Enjoy it. Let's get back into the chat one more time and see who else has got some comments about things here at the moment. Let's scroll back up here. Brandon says PDI to $1. Yeah, that's the thing. Who's going to get the PDI? Who's going to get the $1 first though? Hex or PDI? That's I've seen that out there too. Check my pulse. Luckily, I got free copies on Hex and stakes on Pulsechain. and have been DCAing RX ecosystem throughout the bear market. Thanks you to Superman and you good folks at Check My Pulse. Well done on that. Check My Pulse. Tintop's in the house there. What's up, Hexkins? What's up, Hexkins? Good to see you, Tintop. Welcome to the chat as well. Check My Pulse says, I won a couple hundred incentive tokens on PulseBot. I've been sitting on that. Well done. Well played there. Check My Pulse. Things are going good. What else there? Yeah, there's the strategy club. You want to join up to that today. Next meeting will be this weekend. So join up to that. It's multi-chain opportunities there. Brennan says, Brez loves ink more than anybody else. Does he? Yeah, I know he loves. He loves ink and he loves what does he love? Their payouts as well. But not more than anybody. Not more than Superman. Anyway, so there we go. All right, so I'm going to play out the Magic Carpet Ride. That is installed on Pulsechain. So let's move on from that. And let me see here. Where's my video on the Magic Carpet Ride? Come on, we got to bring it up. All right, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, hit the bell. I will catch you guys again tomorrow. Yes, I will. And, of course, if you want to catch up sooner, I'll be in the Discord today. So I'll see you all there. Hopefully, Brennan will be there too. So I'll enjoy it. Now, once again, we're still pretty early in this market. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty long cycle. And so just keep accumulating the good stuff there on the old Pulsechain. Obviously, do your research and all that sort of stuff. But it's looking pumpamentally good. All right, bye for now. Take care, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hex, hit me one more time. It's a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to play out 2 videos. Here we go.
In theory, if someone were a billionaire and they had like all this money, why wouldn't they just buy more of the thing they liked instead of dumping the thing they liked? Like if Bezos bought shares in Amazon, would you be pissed off? If Apple does a stock buyback and they buy more of their own shares in their company back from the public, which is a way to turn earnings into yield for the shareholders, do you get mad and yell at Apple? And so we had to come up with a word for this fan fiction fantasy, which is the opposite of a rug pull, called a magic carpet ride. And so if you're worried about risk of a rug pull, what weighted value have you given the risk of a magic carpet ride? And it's just hilarious to me.